Hello and welcome to Talking Gaming. It's just finished at the Olympic Stadium. West Ham United 0, Astra 1. Deja vu as we head out of Europe again to the same crappy Romanian side with another crappy performance. I'm here with Tom and Mitch. The last time us three were on a show together, we got beat at Stamford Bridge with another crappy performance. So I guess we're ready to talk about that. Tom, how are you feeling right now?
Shocked, upset, and annoyed. Really, it's just a whole load of emotion this evening after that performance. But no, I'm sure we'll get on to it in a second. But I'm feeling a lot of things after that performance.
Mitch, are you feeling something similar to Tom there?
I'm absolutely disgusted by the performance, to be honest. It doesn't matter what competition is or how seriously we are or aren't taking it. It's a disgraceful performance to a team that's something like fifth bottom in the Romanian Premier Division. It's absolutely outrageous.
Right, let's get into the match. Before we do that, make sure you subscribe to our channel here at Hammers Chat. Got lots of content coming. We've got our Man City preview out tomorrow, and we've got a transfer show live tomorrow night, which, to be fair, I don't know if we'll be doing that much transfers. Now we're just being hauled out of Europe. I think we're maybe working on the assumption we'd be going through. Tom, when the lineup came out, how confident were you feeling? I think it was an expected lineup. The only change or shock, if you like, was that Noble's got a small injury which kept him out the side. But apart from that, were you happy?
Yeah, you had to go over that full of confidence. Like Mitch said, we're playing a side fifth bottom in the Romanian League, a pub team that behind closed doors apparently is an absolute turmoil. Like, it's just the fact we've not come out and won that with the team that we've shown this evening. We should have dominated that game. Like the game against Domzale, should have been 3-4-0 easy, and we've bottled it. And it's just, like I said, we're sure we'll get into it, but with that team, you've got to be confident to go out there and win that game 3-4-0.
Mitch knocked the ball about pretty enough for the first wee while. Then we got that chance. I want Randolph as our #1 goalie. People say why. The pass to Rhys Burke is why. That pass from his box to Rhys Burke in the middle of Astra's half to his feet. It's a lovely through ball to Caleri. He needs to be finishing these, but it's only a second chance. I don't want to criticise him too much, Mitch, but is that the difference between group stage of Europa League and going out?
I think that Caleri is just a prime example of where it all went wrong today. We had chances and we fluffed them. In the first chance, I know what he was doing. He tried doing step overs. To be fair, I think he actually was doing it to try and sort of make an angle and set himself a bit more. But I just think that we just looked completely off the pace, and I thought we looked off the pace against Bournemouth as well, to be honest. We're sort of getting into positions and we're not crossing the ball, or we're not shooting, or we're missing a sitter, and it just has to come to an end. It needs to be sorted as soon as possible, otherwise we will feel the repercussions of these missed chances.
Mitch, apart from that chance, it was a really boring first half. I thought we were struggling. I was trying to work out what the game plan was. How were we going to break down Astra? I wasn't getting any answers watching the game. Were you the same? Were you bored watching that first half apart from that one chance?
We were absolutely toothless, as we have been for maybe the last couple of weeks against Chelsea and against Bournemouth as well. I just thought that we completely underestimated Astra. I thought that Bilic or the players were in the mindset that we're just going to go out there, knock the ball about, they'll make us look like Barcelona and we'll score a couple of easy goals, and that wasn't the case. We had no proper game plan. We went for style of play over quality of play, and it's just backfired on us completely.
Tom, Astra scored just before half-time, summed up West Ham's performance. Astra's goal, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. We didn't create anything in that first half, and I think it was Don Hutchinson said on commentary, you can't have both fullbacks caught forward that far, to allow Astra to have a 4-on-3 break, and they executed the counter attack perfectly. Full credit to them this evening. They were fantastic, both defensively and taking the ball forward tactically at times. So no, all credit goes to them this evening, and it was a great little finish from Teixeira. So. They probably thoroughly deserve to go one up at half time for the shocking performance that it was.
I think what summed up our performance tonight was their goal when it was a cross-field pass from Byram. There was no need for it. Obiang was in the middle of the two. You could have gave it to Obiang to give out to him, but he tried the long pass. There was no need for it. We did a few of them in the first half, long passes, switching the field of play. We didn't need to do it. But that summed up. Then Burke's first touch was quite heavy. It wasn't the easiest one to control because it was on his head, but it was still heavy. That summed up West Ham again tonight with the lack of first touch. The control was sloppy. And then they broke. Then Torre didn't bother his arse tracking Teixeira. You've seen we've got benefits. We've seen the replays. Torre standing next to Teixeira when this break starts. And when Teixeira gets the ball, he's in acres of space. No one near him. He could have walked it right up to Randolph if he wanted. Mitch, what was your thoughts on their goal? You must be absolutely raging.
I've always defended Torre, and I think that before we criticise the touch, we should give him a bit more time. But I will make one promise. I will guarantee you one thing: if he doesn't track back in places like that, and when other teams are on the break, the West Ham fans will turn against him very, very quickly. We can deal with players not being very good or struggling to adapt to the Premier League, but pure laziness we cannot stand, and he will not be in the fans' good books for much longer if he keeps pulling stunts like that.
Yeah, I have to agree. I just think their whole goal, that one moment, that 30 seconds of play just summed up West Ham's 90 minutes of play with a long pass, the poor first touch, and then the laziness to get back. The second half kicked off. Tom Caleri's header, another chance for the man. I mean, I'm not dissing him. I'm not saying he's going to be rubbish. I'm not writing him off. What I'm saying is we created chances. I know we didn't play well. We didn't create enough chances. But we created more than Astra, in my opinion. And this was another one of them.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, again, I'll take it from Don Hutchinson, who said it. He liked the look of Caleri because, you know, he played in between the lines. He could sort of make that diagonal run and make himself free to give opportunities for people to find him. And he had that a couple of games. I don't know what it is. He just seems devoid of confidence. You know, the other day against Bournemouth, he had a one-on-one that any striker should have really buried. He had the header this afternoon, this evening. I'm thinking, you know, all it takes is just bang, you know, just a powerful header, just on target, and he's fluffed that. The chance he had in the first half, I don't know what it is. He just doesn't seem confident going forward. But it wasn't like we didn't give him a couple of opportunities to finish this evening. I probably think if those chances go to Andy Carroll this evening, he finishes them both, especially with one with a header. So, no, I do like Caleri, and it's not. We can't judge him just yet. I think you've got to let him, you know, get a few games under his belt first. But he definitely can create a chance. He can get himself open to in these positions, but he just has to have a bit more confidence. And I think if he scores one, he could score multiple after that. But it just takes that first goal to get that. And this evening just it wasn't going for him tonight.
I think you're right about the short confidence. I think Sunday might have affected him tonight because he missed that chance. I do think there's such a thing as too much time for strikers. I think he was through and goal on Sunday for too long. He overthought what he was going to do, and in the end, he simply just fluffed it. Tonight, I think he was low on confidence. He's playing in front of 50,000 people in a game where the pressure was on West Ham. It's probably different to what he's played under so far, where there's a lot of focus on you in the Premier League, and particularly when you're going into a game like this as the huge favourite. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just crumbled a little bit. Mitch, another chance. This time, Winston Reid. This is why we're out. These chances are why we've gone out tonight.
It's just one of those things because I think 9 out of 10 times Reid buries those sorts of headers, and it just summed up the night. It wasn't the most clear-cut chance out of all of the rest of them, to be honest, but obviously it's still one I think he should have put away, and he knew it, judging by his reaction as well.
What do you make about, I mean, when Fletcher came on, he was easily the best West Ham player in a claret and blue shirt over the night, I think, but he took on 3 players, Mitch, then he went down. Pen or not pen? No
way. I think that if a penalty was given against us for a challenge like that, we would be absolutely fuming. To be honest, I think it was even a bit of a dive. He just felt the contact on his shoulder and just went straight down. It's not a penalty for me.
Is that a bit of a shame, though, Mitch? You're saying he's dived. We'll get Tom's opinion in a minute. If he's done all that work, he's took on 3 or 4 other players, and he just almost just gives up by going for the cheap option. Is that a bit of a slap in his own face?
I don't know. He was running into traffic, so maybe he just thought. I'm not saying that he 100% dived. To be honest, I think he did, but I'm not saying. I can't. I haven't got too much evidence back up. Just what I've seen, basically. But he was running into traffic, so maybe he just thought, I'm not going to be able to pop a ball out or anything like that. I'll just take the dive.
Tom, the 50,000 people screaming pen. Mitch says no pen. What was your thoughts on it?
Agree with Mitch. Think he went down too easy. Of course, 50,000 fans, and probably even myself, if I was in the stadium and I couldn't exactly see it, would have called for it. But no, he just goes down far too easily. And this is where the whole debate comes into play. You know, coaches telling players feel the contact, go down, but a bit too theatrical. And it was the slightest of nudges, and he went down. And like Mitch said, if that was given for me, I get for Astra down the other end, I'd have been pretty irritated. Yeah.
I think it was a bit silly considering the referee had let a lot of barges go during the game in the middle of the pitch. I don't know why he was going to give it in the box all of a sudden. Tom, I think is this the best chance of the game? Ogbonna has a shot to Shearer for some reason standing a yard beside his keeper, keeping the 6 West Ham players on side. And it falls to Fletcher's feet. Now he does have to turn and shoot. He doesn't know where the keeper is. I don't think he knows where the goal is properly. Huge chance though, Tom.
Look, the thing is, and I know he's young, and I'm not going to overly criticise him, but top strikers, they don't miss those kind of opportunities. Sergio Aguero feeds on stuff like that for fun, and if you're going to be a striker, you have to finish those chances. He could have put it in either corner. The keeper was already on the floor, and he had either corner to slot it into, and he scuffed it, and he's gone straight at the keeper. And like I said, I don't want to overly criticise him because he was our best player. When he came on, he showed a bit of fire, and a bit of energy, and a bit of guile that we were lacking the entire game. But if you're going to be a striker and you're going to be a world-class striker, or even simple chances like that, you have to take them, and that had to be buried.
Tom, is this where it's coming back on the board and saying the 2 strikers we've been speaking about tonight that missed the chances are the 2 you signed in the summer instead of a better striker? You got us a better striker, we could have scored those chances.
Look, I mean, maybe yes, maybe not. I still think Andy Carroll buries those chances. I don't think he misses them, but I don't think the board...
No, but wait. We're not talking about Andy Carroll. We're talking about what the board has provided Slaven Bilic the tools to go out there tonight.
All right.
That's the players he's been given by the board. So is this where the Bilic is saying, well, you know, I'm playing my strikers you've given me. They're getting the chances, but they ain't finishing them.
Fair enough, yeah. I mean, yes, they've provided him, but like I've said a second ago, any striker should have finished that. I don't think it's just necessarily Kaleri and Fletcher. I think any striker had to have finished that. And I don't know if a pair of them are devoid of confidence or whatever, but I don't think the board can be blamed for the 2 signings because they do look very good. They do look good prospects. But it might take them a while just to fit into the rotation of the team and to get a bit of confidence by scoring 1 or 2. Especially under the pressure and you know the cauldron atmosphere of the Olympic Stadium to finally start backing a few. But I can't blame the board openly for the signings because, like I said a second ago, Fletcher was probably our best player out there tonight.
I do think they're good prospects, but what I was trying to get at is I think they've missed the boat in terms of getting a striker. Now we're in the market for a striker now. This is where we should have been in the market for a striker a month ago to give Bilic the experienced player. We're in for Zaha or Bone, whoever we do end up getting. Bilic should have had him in the squad for tonight, going into tonight's game, so he had options and he had an experienced player who would have been more composed in front of that keeper. And like you said, just took the half a second just to glance up and pick his spot and put it away. Mitch, we just did not look like scoring tonight, did we? Even after those chances, after that Fletcher chance, we still had plenty of time, but you know, I know their keeper's had the game of his life tonight. He's pulled off some fantastic saves, but we were just so flat up front, weren't we?
This, as I said earlier on in this what do you call it, live show almost. We just looked so toothless, and we looked toothless against Chelsea. We looked toothless against Bournemouth. I don't understand why we're playing 3 holding midfielders, Nordveit, Obiang, and Kouyaté, who all just sit in front of the back four. I know Kouyaté does come forward sometimes, but he hasn't got the best end product, has he? Like, we can't expect to look razor sharp when we're playing 3 defensive midfielders, especially at home against teams like Bournemouth and Astra. We need to have someone, either another striker up front or someone sitting in that hole just off the striker. We can't, you know, we even saw it last season. The 4-3-3 just doesn't work for me, especially when we haven't got Payet. We need someone who's just going to add that spark, that bit of creativity.
Yeah, I totally agree. We were forced to play the ball wide tonight because we had no one in the middle behind the striker. And Astra lapped up. They were just hoofing everything away. When we went wide, we had to get the fullbacks up. One of them isn't even out-and-out fullback, and he's on his weaker side in Reece Burke. Now, Tom, where's it gone wrong tonight? Where's the fault? Where does the fault lie tonight?
I don't know. It's got to lie probably. partly with the players, partly with Bilic. I mean, really, why it takes us till the 45th minute and after half time to get going, for Bilic and Dix and Jurzovic or whoever in the dressing room to lambast the players and say, look, wake up, you're 45 minutes about going out of Europe. But these aren't just young talentless players or players with promise. This is a full squad of internationals that are playing. Some internationals that are playing, and they should have just done a professional job on Astra this evening, and they've faltered. So partly it has to be down to the players for not finishing the chances that they had, but partly Bilic, like Mitch says, why we're playing three holding midfielders and not having someone in behind the striker. So mix of both, but I think tonight probably leans a little bit towards the players just for the shoddy job that they did at times.
Mitch, do you think, tricky question possibly, do you think all the players were up for that tonight and wanted to win?
No. Like I said, I don't want to criticise all the signings too early, because obviously it is so early on the season, anything can happen. But at the same time, I'm already getting the impression that we've just signed players who are coming here for a bit of Premier League fame and a bit of money, basically. None of them, especially new signings. Torre didn't look bothered. Nordveit just looks a bit, I don't know, out of his depth almost. I don't know if he hasn't quite adapted from the Bundesliga yet. And Caleri just completely shot of confidence. I'm afraid that we might have overplayed our hand in the foreign transfer market this season and signed a few players who generally aren't going to fit or don't really want to be here with the passion that perhaps a player from the Championship might want to bring to the table. So yeah, but we're being negative, but we're still missing Faguli and all that lot. But still, I can't even defend the performance of that. I'm absolutely shocked by how bad it was.
Tom, who are you blaming tonight? You said you're leaning towards the players. What players? Who are you looking at tonight and saying you've let the club down, you've let the fans down, you've let that shirt down?
Coquelin, Torre, Valencia didn't do much when he came on. The holding midfielders, they didn't do great. Nordveit didn't look great again. Kuyate. I mean, look, there were a lot of performances you could have nitpicked at points tonight, but I just think as a team we've underperformed, or we've underperformed majorly. And I'm just going to quickly add a point. I think this is a massive thing now. We've been knocked out of Europe tonight, and all of a sudden we've got Payet, Lanzini, we've got Torre, we've got Faguli, we've still got Sacco and Valencia, Carroll, Caleri. We've just signed Fernandez this evening. Ayew, we've got Obiang, Noble, Nordveit, we've got Masuaku and Cresswell. Oxford and Burke have been kept in, not gone out on loan because of first team opportunities. All of a sudden, we've got a too big a squad. This was all based on us getting into Europe this evening, and all of a sudden now, well, what are these players going to do? Play once, in the EFL Cup or in the FA Cup now and again. People are going to get annoyed. These are all professionals that have come here to play and are not going to get the game time because we've not made it into Europe. We specifically went out and bought the players that we did to play in Europe. So who do we go now with our front three and our striker, or Payet, Ayew, and Carroll? Say we don't sell Valencia and Sacco in the transfer window because nobody wants them. Then what are we left with? So really, I just think tonight has been such a disappointment, and it really is going to tell in the next couple of days on how things are going to shape. Because, like I said, we have got such a big squad now, and people are going to start getting annoyed, like the likes of Ayew or Faguli, if they're not getting played. So it really is a little worrying at the minute.
I'm looking at our three centre midfielders tonight. I didn't think any one of them really looked bothered about winning tonight. At least Caleri, although he's missed his chances, and Fletcher, for me, they worked their socks off up front. They were chasing the balls down. They were trying to make stuff happen. Totally couldn't be arse tracking his man. Byram, I thought Byram was really poor tonight, but I think he wanted it. I think, at the end of the game there, you seen him lashing out at someone and getting a booking, but he's pissed off, and that's a good thing. He's getting angry. He's saying, why the hell are we getting beat by Astra here? Then you've got our centre midfielder. You've got Enner Valencia trying to calm things down in the box when Fletcher and the keeper had a confrontation. Valencia's just telling everyone to calm down. What are you on about calm down? How about you get worked up and you show the same amount of passion as Fletcher does? Maybe you wouldn't be 1-0 down. I'm just fed up watching people like that, and And I suppose, although he's not involved at all, people like Sacco at our club who just don't care, and it's really starting to grate on me when we've got youngsters like Oxford and Burke who bite your arm off a chance in that first team, but they can't get in, and ahead of them are these people who can't even be arsed playing against a Romanian side, and all they have to do is draw 0-0. It's not the right attitude, but it's simple. You draw the game and you go through.
Can I just add something on to what you just said? We're intending to sell Valencia and Sacco, and then we've just gone out and loaned Martin Samuelson to Blackburn, I think it was, who looks like he could potentially be a world-class player in the next 5 or 6 years. It's like, if we don't start playing these hungry young players who look like they're already good enough to perhaps have time in the Premier League and all these other competitions, they're going to leave us. And I'd much rather we gave a hungry Fletcher or Samuelson or Burke or Oxford a go, rather than just bringing in a player from a foreign league who's basically just coming to us trying to get a bit of Premier League fame and doesn't really have his heart, have his heart in the shirt.
I totally agree. Yeah, 1 sec, Tom. Tory is probably going to have to start on Sunday at Man City, because while we'll have Payet and Lanzini back, I'm not sure Bilic's just going to throw them both in at the start alongside Antonio. So assuming Tory starts, so why is he starting tonight? There's no need for him to start tonight. Put Brown in there, or just don't put Samuelson out on loan so early and have Samuelson there. Play 2 up front and put Fletcher up front or something. Put the kids in. This tournament, people were saying this tournament gives the kids the chance. Well, they're not going to get that chance now, and they didn't even get it in the qualifiers because for some reason we played the players on big wages who couldn't be arsed. I felt dead sorry at the end of the game. I know we've got the benefit because we're watching on TV and we ain't at the game. That camera went to Martin Noble in the crowd. I honestly thought he was a way to cry. I thought Martin Noble was a way to cry. He looks like someone says, this was my chance at playing in Europe for West Ham United, and you lot down there just took it away from me. Yes, Tom, what would you want to say?
Mainly just to back up the points that both of you made. This is the thing. My granddad, of all people, said this to me this morning. I said to him, we're out to sign this fella called Fernandez. And he looked at me and said, why? Why are we not giving the youth a go? And it's true, even if we were to buy players, why we can't dip down into one of the lower divisions, find someone that's hungry enough to want it. I'm not knocking against Fernandez, but do we really need to buy him first and foremost? We've got players that could easily play those positions and do a bloody good job at playing those positions. Like you both said, Samuelson, he would have probably been 10 times as hungry than Gökhan Torre to have a chance and go out there and play this evening. He could have probably gone out there tonight and worked his socks off, but Torre did not look interested all game. And there are certain signings that we've made this summer that I've sat back and think, really, do we really need them? And it's like you said, what more? How many more opportunities now are these youngsters going to get in this season? Because now we've already got a squad that's too big for these youngsters to even play. And like you said, the whole reason of this cup was to be able to give people like Fletcher, like Burke, like Oxford more of a chance to play. Because really, the likelihood is they're not going to get above Cresswell, they're not going to get above Masuaku or Reed or Ogbonna when the team's in full swing. So it is a massive letdown this evening. And like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw a few departures before the end of the window now.
Well, speaking of departure, I wouldn't be surprised if Obiang's one of them. And if he leaves in the next couple of days, there's no way I'm going to believe you if you tell me he didn't know he was leaving tonight. Hence, the half-hearted performance on that pitch. There's no way I think if he's going, he knew about it before tonight's game. I'm going to be quite stubborn on that view as well. Mitch, anything you want to say before we bugger off and leave these lovely viewers in peace?
I think I would like to say, just generally, I'm bitterly disappointed, and I think that I don't know how to explain the transfer window that we just had that we were just talking about. It feels like we were going to say, we're going to sign a couple, a world-class striker and that sort of thing. We're going to get quality over quantity, I thought would be the motto. And it's just like you guys have just said, we've just sort of looked as though we ended up with potentially very average players who are just here for the money and a bit of to say that I've played in the Premier League, I'm a top player. We need to start giving the youth a go, otherwise it will affect us in the long run. The fans want to see the youth, and they will leave if we don't give them the chance.
At the end of the day, the youth won the Under-21 Cup last season. Okay, there's nothing more they could have done. They won it. Okay? They came out with rave reviews. Burke went to Bradford and won every player award possible. Samuelson has been touted around as one of the best yet. Terry Wesley, the man who's revolutionised our youth team and says that Brown is one of the best players he's ever seen at that age, and that he will go. Antonio said Brown's going to go on and become world class himself. What more do they have to do to get a chance? What more can they do? And then, as a kid, if I was in that team, I'd be thinking, there's nothing more I can do. I ain't getting a chance here. I'm never going to get a chance here. Tom, any last words for you?
The last point I'll make is, and I don't want to see as like I'm bit, complaining too much, because there is still a full season to go, and it feels like we've been complaining so much, and we're only 2 weeks really into the full season. But the last thing I will add is we've got to be very, very, very careful as going forward for this season, because the Premier League is a hell of a lot better than it was last year, and you're going to get a hell of a lot more teams that are hungrier than us with better squads that will take up those European places. And if we're not careful, we're not going to finish anywhere near that top 6 or 7, depending on how the Champions League Europa goes. And what set out as a summer where you're talking about signing Ibrahimovic and Lacazette and Baka and people like that, we might end up with a squad that is not harmonious at all, and could end up being a very bad season if we don't buck up and wise up soon. And I will definitely be clenching my cheeks together for the next few days before that window shuts, because what is to say Payet doesn't leave because before the end of the window? I like I said, I stand by it that there could be a few people leaving because of the fact we haven't got European football.
Right, now you've heard Mitch's view, you've heard Tom's view, you've heard my view. We've all had a rant, we're all a bit pissed off. Now we want to hear your view. You can comment below in the YouTube comments, or come on to our forum at hammerschat.com. We'll put the link for the match thread in the description. It's free to join up. It takes 60 seconds. We want to hear your opinions. Whether you disagree with us or agree with us, but you just want to talk about something we've not spoke about, do come on and let us know. If you're on social media, on Twitter, it's at hammers_chat, on facebook.com/hammerschat, and on Instagram, it's just hammerschat as well. All the links are below. We've got a mobile phone app on iOS and Android. Do check that out. Again, the links are in the description. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow at dinner time with our Man City preview, and tomorrow night at 8:30 live. Talk about the transfer window. We were promised a marquee signing. I think we're all going to end up getting pissed in a marquee tent at what's going on at West Ham United this summer. We've been Hammers Chat. Thank you for watching.